here it goes. It's your boy Benji B on this couch again. Decypher podcast. I'm here with my boy Ty.
What's up, B-boys, B-girls around the world. We are out for another episode. What are we talking about today, bro?
Bro, we're talking about breaking. And after that, we'll probably talk about breaking.
And then?
Breaking.
Ooh.
What do you have after that?
A little bit of breaking.
Yeah. Now, honestly, so today we're going to have a little bit of chat about the WDSF qualifiers that just happened. You know,
Yeah,
big
Oceania Championship here in Australia. The first of hopefully many, and hopefully not the only one.
Man, it was crazy.
Yeah.
What a weekend.
Wild. Very emotional for everybody.
Yeah. You know what? Just to cut the fat. How are you, bro?
Damn.
All right, so just to give everyone at home some context, Ty was actually a major competitor in the Oceania qualifiers. He made it through the prelims, made it into top 8, and that's where you unfortunately fell out. But in saying that, bro, congratulations. It's not an easy thing to do.
Yep.
You had to go through the whole country, the whole region, just to get to where you were. On top of that, we had to go through a new kind of battle format, the round robin, which we'll get to a bit later.
Yep.
You know? Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's a huge thing. We all knew you were training for it, among all the other athletes, guys and girls, B-boys, B-girls. How are you feeling in hindsight after everything?
To be honest, I'm still processing. It's pretty, like I said, and I think for everybody, regardless in terms of your place and how far you went throughout the competition, I think it was a really, really big event for a lot of people. A lot of people had things on the line and had made a lot of sacrifices. Personally, like myself and my family, we sacrificed a lot and unfortunately came up a little bit short. It would have been nice had I got to the top 4 or even to the final. However, I got taken out in the top 8 and there's no hate or anything against anybody or the system. It is what it is. But obviously it's upsetting, right? Like you put everything on the line, you sacrifice everything, and then you don't get the result that you want. So it definitely takes time to process. And now it's almost like, damn, like now what? You know what I mean?
That's huge, man. Yeah. It's like a scary cliff to be standing on top of, to, you know, have the mountain behind you, everything you've just climbed down, and then, you know, where's the next one?
But I definitely learned a lot. Like I learned so much going through the entire process in order to prepare for Oceania, as well as like little, I would say like small, like 1% sort of incremental things that I could add to my training and to like my overall practice and I guess methodology of how to prepare for an event like this, because it's something that sort of stands on its own, and there's a particular, I would say, style and a particular type of dancer that would suit that type of competition. You know,
from a spectator's point of view, I agree. I agree. For someone who's been in the scene for a while and seen like the styles come in and out, such as yourself being a part of it as well. But I shot the event, so my company ended up doing the coverage for it. And with a B-boy's kind of background as well, I agree. There is a style out there that the Olympic kind of
favors.
Style favors. 100%.
There are certain criterias and certain boxes that you pretty much need to tick in order to be able to do well at this competition.
Yeah, it's crazy because it doesn't limit you on creativity, I don't think. But what it does is, like, in order to tick those boxes, you almost have to be quite specific on what you're putting in your rounds, how you're putting it in there. That's what I see anyway.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? So I feel like the structure of a set is very streamlined as opposed to how would it be in a regular battle. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
What do you reckon?
From my experience and like talking to others, pretty much for this type of format, sets will enable you to win. And I guess for those that are listening at home and maybe people that aren't necessarily breakers or dancers, there are probably two main approaches that come in terms of how you approach a battle. And one is set orientated and the other we call freestyle. However, each dancer will gravitate towards a particular approach. And
I'm a freestyler.
I'm similar. Yeah, I'm a freestyler.
You're a
as well.
freestyler? Yeah.
With freestyle, like freestyle for breaking, you have small combinations or small phrases that you put together within your round. And I guess some people have a premeditated approach where they like, oh, okay, I know I'm going to do A, B, C within this round, but how I get there, I don't know how I'm going to get there. Yeah. And I'll let the music or I'll let the environment dictate what I'm going to do. However, if you have the other approach where it's a set orientation, where you've got your combinations, but they're all in the one thing, and you've practiced that set routine, like those different combinations, and from start to finish, you know exactly what you're doing. And so for a competition like a WDSF event and for Oceania, it helps to have sets because you need to dance for at least 16 rounds minimum if you want to get to the finals.
It's been counting at about 15 minimum, 16 minimum. Like when you get to the finals, you're probably going to be putting out probably like 20 to be fair. And that's not just the Oceania qualifiers, right? So Raygun and J-Tac, along with the silver and bronze medalists, they're going to go forward to other WDSF comps. J-Tac and Raygun going forward to the Olympics. They're going to need 20 rounds, and that's against other dancers, the athletes that have way more than 20 rounds.
Yeah.
I think that's wild, man. We had a conversation about this before, right? How I was saying, I'm not too sure if the road to the Olympics, for me, is the right one. I don't know if, as a scene, you know, having 16 rounds, 20 rounds, and having to go through so many just to make it through, you know, not even to the finals, or just, I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit, I like to say it like this. Name me another sport where you're doing 16 plus rounds of your activity, like within 2 to 3 hours. Do you know what I mean? Because jams can go anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, you know, in terms of like how you're breaking. There are gaps in there, but in terms of hours of dancing, it's like 2 to 4. Right? And you're pumping out round after round after round. That's impact on your body. That's emotional damage from like wins, from and losses.
Also, you know, like in between each battle, you've got to cool down, then you've got to warm up again. Sometimes you don't always know when you're on, so you have to stay ready the whole day.
Yeah.
Like
you're not seeing Olympic boxers jump in, have a fight at 9 a.m., call off till 11, have another fight, and then call off for another couple hours and keep doing that throughout the whole day. It doesn't happen. You know, it's even if we go in and look at you know, let's look at gymnastics or any of the dance style kind of Olympic sports. They're studying like a set for the whole, a routine for the whole 4 years, making sure it ticks every single box. So there's so much pressure over them to do well on that exact moment. Whereas breakers, we have the same thing, except there's the aspect of the music that changes up. You don't know what song you're going to get. You don't know who you're versing.
Yeah,
so
totally.
Even though I sound like I'm bitching a little bit right now, I think it's exciting.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting. And I have to remind myself, like, this is not the end. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I was going to ask you that. Where's your mindset now?
Yeah, as much as like I know myself and a few other people that have invested so much time and energy and didn't quite get the result that we all wanted. But this is technically only the beginning. Do you know what I mean? Like there's still going to be a wave that's going to come. How it looks may be different to what we had expected, especially for myself. So now it's about understanding that I just need to keep going, keep pushing, redirect my energy, put my energy into this, and keep building because, there's definitely more opportunities to come, you know, like as one door closes, another door opens.
I think that's something I've been trying to whisper into everybody's ear who competed. Because for me, it was like, just to bring it back a little bit, right?
Yeah.
For me, it was emotional watching you guys compete because a lot of you have been my friends for so long and I've trained with you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've trained with like Paulo, I've trained with Law, everyone who Gerard, everyone who's like really, really invested. We've seen Jeff go from like, little kid to what he is now to taking out the gold. And everyone had a different journey on the day.
Yeah,
and I thought that was crazy, right? Like I would go in and you catch G, and Gerard was just in this like Zen mode, and his mindset is it's just another battle, right? It is the Olympics, but it's just another battle. Then I think you and Paolo sit very similarly in how much you've invested into this, and maybe you guys perform better that way. Everyone's different, right? There's no right or wrong. But I did see that you guys had so much more weight on yourselves. Both of you performing amazingly, right? I've seen you guys break that good in a while. And so I knew that all your training was paying off. You never know till the day, right?
No,
and
totally.
then you've got someone like Law who comes in and like he's just traveled the world and he's like, you know what, I'm ready for it. I may as well jump in anyway. But he's not. He's a bit more like of a free spirit while he's in there.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And then you've got Jeff, J-Tac, taking out the gold.
Yeah.
Man's been training since he was out the womb.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And big shout out to Rhonda, because Rhonda's been investing so much into Jeff. Jeff has put in a lot of hard work. Big love to J-Attack. Congratulations on getting gold.
Yeah.
But also big love to Rhonda and to Team Cream. They've really developed him, as well as BenMX.
Yeah,
he
BenMX.
made second place.
Yo, both of them
but
together.
They've been traveling. Rhonda and Jeff have been traveling themselves, flying themselves to so many different WDSF events these past couple of years in order for him to gain experience and to like continuously grow. And it's obviously shown.
He is the example of breaking can be an athletic sport outside of the dance, because he still has the love for it as a craft, as a creative craft and as a dance. But you can really see that putting the mindset in and the work ethic in as an athlete can pay off.
Yeah, totally.
And there's a space for them. There's a space for that kind of style of breaking, which I think is good. But going back again, that's what I was emotional about watching you guys, because I'd see you go through all of your kind of emotions at different times. So what does that mean, going into now, what's next for Tydal? The big title. I didn't know. I didn't know what that was when I was watching it, and I was like, "Is that like a tiger?" I was like, and then I was like,
it clicked. It's a tidal wave that comes up and it crashes, bro. Get some imagination,
I've seen you
man.
so many times in the lead up, and I had no idea like what that was. Oh man, good time. But yeah, what's next, man?
What's next? I don't know. To be honest, like I said, I'm still figuring that out. It'll take some time to process. Like I've accepted it, but now it's just like, yeah, definitely doubling down on this. Decypher, we need to pump it up, because there's going to be more opportunities available to us and to the rest of the community.
Hey, that's a call out to everybody. So if you enjoy Decypher and you feel like you got something important to say, you want to bring up, DM us, because we would love to have anybody and everybody on here.
Definitely.
As many people as we can.
We are not gatekeeping. The door is open.
No, this is for you guys. The couch is for you guys. So there's a big space right here. We have another attachment over there. We can bring that in.
We could possibly host a jam.
We
could possibly. I don't know.
Possibly.
We could possibly. If someone would help us do that, we would love to do that.
I'm also looking into just possibly, getting a whole crew on here.
Oh, that.
Do you know what I mean?
Possibly.
Could be a thing. Fly in your crew.
Yep.
Sheesh. But
your crew got smack to talk? Come get it. You want that smoke? Let's start some beef.
Sheesh. Ties off that goody two shoes. I'm an athlete buzz now. He's like, I'm in.
I got my alter ego.
I'm in.
I'm ready.
All right, man. Hey, there is something I wanted to bring up before we kind of move away from the whole Olympic chat.
Yep.
New battle format. That was exciting, right? Round robin.
Yeah. Before we go into that, like, let's actually talk about the results.
Okay.
And then we can talk about how we got there. So in terms of top 4 B-boys, we had Duke coming in 4th.
Jeez. Man, long time coming. Duke has been killing it for years.
Then we got Gerard Katek came in at 3rd place, took the bronze.
Yeah.
Then BenMX came in at 2nd. And Jeff J-Attack came out at 1st place.
Crazy, man. Crazy results.
Big day of battles. In the B girls, we had Do you remember in fourth place? Was it Geraldina?
Dina,
G-Clef?
you got Geraldina, G-Clef from Floatality.
Yeah, and then third place was Hannah. And then second place was Molly.
Yeah, from SKB.
Yeah, Woolen Gangsters. And then first place was Raygun. Rachel, 143, Vanguards of Style. Yeah. So big congratulations to those 8 people that will be representing Australia. So Jeff, J-Tech, and Raygun will be going
They go straight to Paris.
To the Olympic Games next year, 2024.
So they don't have to battle anymore. They just got to train.
They just got to prepare. July, August next year is going to be the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris.
What does that mean for silver,
bronze, and fourth? So second to fourth place, they have qualified for the OQS, the Olympic Qualifier Series, and it's 2 events. One's in Shanghai and one's in Budapest. And I believe there's only 40 slots. I'm not sure if that's correct, but I think there's only 40 slots from around the world that will go to the OQS.
Yep.
So they're the top 40 in the world.
I think it is 40.
And then from there, they'll cull to, I think, maybe 7 or 8 positions. Then will qualify from the Olympic Qualifier Series into the Olympic Games.
Right.
So they've already...
So there is a chance that we can get some more Australian athletes.
Definitely. There's a chance that we could get some more Australian athletes into the Olympic Games. However, there's already, I think, 5 or 6 people, both men and women, that have qualified for the Olympic Games already.
Okay, for those 7 spots that are remaining, that 5 of them already got.
Exactly.
So
through
at the moment,
the other games,
2.
there was European Games, Pan American Games. I think there was an Asian Games, an African Games, and then there's Oceania. So far, I know.
Hey, Olympic things, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, for everyone who's not a breaker and just a fan of it, go support. Go support. That is Duke, Geraldina, Hannah, and Benamex.
And Gerard.
And
Molly.
And Molly.
Yeah.
So there's 6. Those 6... we'll probably end up putting their faces, like the social grabs. So
and we'll try to get some of them on.
Yeah, 100%. I think, just a little slide in there. I think we've been trying to line up Jeff in December.
Oh.
Right, so we get to talk to the gold medalist, the male's gold medalist.
Yep.
Maybe we'll try and get Raygun in around the same time too.
Yep.
That'd be great. But yeah, show the support. It's big. It's a big one for us. And then after this Olympics, we go in for a little bit of hiatus until we get another chance. So everyone will be back in training into the lab to go again. So, man.
And to be honest, it's going to be a good show. Regardless if you are watching breaking at the moment or dance in general, this is the top tier. This is the highest caliber of breaking athletes in the world. And they have given everything to this dance and to increase their athleticism. Most of the people that have qualified are already full-time athletes. They train almost every day. They all have personal trainers. They all have physios. They're doing everything as if they are, because they are.
You ended up getting a physio. You started training with a proper training lab. They were checking your body out and how was that? Tell me a bit about that again.
So I still train with them. So I see a physio. I see 2 physios. I see one based in Alexandria, Sports Lab. Big shout out to those guys. They have been helping me out and supporting my journey. And then I also see another physio. His name is Roop. His is iMove Physio. He's in Rockdale. Big love to that guy. And then the people that program my strength training and my recovery, Ethos Performance, and they work with a lot of UFC fighters that come out of Australia. Actually, I'll share a clip in my socials from a couple of months ago. I did a screen with them where they tested all my mobility and my strength and my oxygen intake and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I was working also with another guy from the Netherlands. His name is Rabani. Big shout out to Rabani. Some people know, some people don't know. He's a G. He works with some of the people from Hustle Kids and
so you were working with him in terms of what leading up?
He helped me with my breaking and my approach to breaking at the start of the year.
If you could have one takeaway from what, obviously he's a professional, one takeaway from training with all of these professionals moving in as an athlete, what would you say?
I think it's important for athletes to have coaches. It's important for dancers to have coaches because they can see things that you can't see. They can keep you accountable. They can correct your mistakes, and they can give you a different sort of approach. And, you know, like every great athlete or every great sportsman has a coach. Right. And there's no reason why us as dancers shouldn't have coaches either or mentors, because they're the ones that are going to initially boost us up. Do you know what I mean? They give us their whole experience and then they give something else. Yeah. And so it just only makes us better.
They try their best to make you your best.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So talking about best of the best, let's go to the round robins. Right? This is 4, 8, 12, 16. Top 16, usually it would just be top 16 bracket going through.
Yep.
Right? In the world, no one really, or not that I know of, it's not the norm to do a round robin where everybody versus everybody in their group in order to go through.
It happens in soccer and football, is that right?
Yes, in certain rounds they will. We've
But
never
in
done
breaking,
it. We've never done that in breaking because
breaking,
usually you
it's
just
usually-
verse the person next to you in the bracket and then you go through.
And it starts at the top of the table and you just cull.
Yeah.
You cull and cull and cull and cull until you get to the top 2 and that's your final, and then you get one winner. So yeah, having a round robin is definitely very different.
Yeah, so it started out, you had 4 groups of 4. So bang, bang. In each group of 4, those 4 competitors had to verse each other once. And along the way, they would rack up a total of 16 points for every battle. And that would rack up. So you would see each 4 go. And the person in the highest of that group, in terms of points, will then go through.
Yep.
It was crazy, man. From the competitor side first, you know, it brings a new dynamic.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, you've got points coming in. You can do your best, yet fall off at the end, and someone can eclipse you.
Yep.
Because they might verse someone, and they absolutely clean out the rounds.
Yep.
So you might have 4 great battles, walk away with 8, 9 points, so you edge over, just over. Amazing battles, shows that you're the most amazing dancer out there, yet by points, you know, like you're kind of here. Whereas like someone can just get that one battle, clean out all 16 points and skyrocket them to the top of the board.
Yep.
So from a competitor's point of view, how did you like the round robins?
How did I like the round robin? To be honest, I think it was good. I wouldn't say I necessarily enjoyed it. It's challenging in a different way, right? Like in order to get to the top 16, you had to. For us, we were fortunate that there were only a certain amount of competitors within the event, so they only chose the top 16. Yeah. So I think your preliminary round is actually harder technically than a top 16 round robin, just because you need to showcase yourself more and prove that you can get to that stage. Because once you get to a battle stage, I actually personally find it easier because all I have to do is battle. I don't have to prove to anybody else that I need to be here or I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this.
Because the prelim is like in the qualifier, as it is in a lot of other places. In a prelim, you battle someone. There is someone on the other side of the dance floor, yet there is a chance that either both of you make it through or none of you make it through.
Yeah, and
so that's what Ty means by saying he has to showcase more of himself, because you're basically getting compared / judged against everybody that's
exactly.
in there.
It's you battling everybody else.
Yeah.
And so you have to prove to the judges, who in this case had no idea who we were, which was great because they were non-biased. So you needed to showcase to them that you were good enough to get to the next stage. Right. So then by the time it gets to the top 16, if we go back to how we approach a competition like this, sets definitely make it easier to be able to progress in this type of competition, because you need to have at least 16 rounds. Yeah. So in part of my preparation, I am not a set b-boy. However, I had to change my approach so that I could battle within this context. Wow. So when it came to the top 16, I already knew what I was going to do. I had my 6 sets available, and I just need to go back to my phone, review a little bit, and I'm like, sweet, cool. And it's just like, you know, the blessing of it is, you know, you have to do 3 battles, you know, you have to do 6 rounds. If you're prepared, it's just grueling. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just have to keep going, and you have to just keep executing and trust in yourself and keep doing the thing. It's not like obviously you care about the result, but you have more of a chance to pass if your performance is on point.
It almost sounds like a bit more of a long game chess style.
Yeah.
You know, you're setting out your attacks from before you even enter the battle.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're just hoping that these plays are good, right?
Yeah.
So from on my end, that sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong here, does it feel like it's pulling a little bit of like the creativity of watching someone dance before you and then choosing a round suited to that? Because you've got 6 rounds, right? Are you structuring, okay, I'm going to do this round first, 1 to 6, or are you going in with the freedom to say, okay, I'll do my first round, then, oh, look, I should probably pull out my 5th round here.
If I was...
Sorry, we're taking a look into your tactics right now.
No, that's fine. I'm happy to share. If I was even more prepared and in touch with having sets, I'd probably be able to do the latter of being like, oh yeah, I can do 1 and 5. However, because it was still quite fresh for me, what I would do is, I knew the 6 rounds that I wanted to do within the top 16. However, every battle, I would look at the person that I'm versing, and I would make adjustments to my rounds, and I might change which round will go where, and I actually might change which moves that I would use. So I would have, like, let's say A, B, C, D in round 1, and then I've got G, E, F, H in round 2, and then I'm like, oh, I don't think H is going to work in round 2. So I'm going to take that out. I'll put that in the bottom, and then I'll pull out one of my other moves from a different round and put that in. And I'm like, okay, sweet. That's going to be better to complement and better off against this person and their particular style.
So when you're not on the dance floor, right, you've just done round 1, prelims, and you've used so-and-so rounds, you've used A. You've gone into the first round of the round robins.
Yep. Also, the other thing is, with this type of competition, they highly emphasize, one of the criterias is vocabulary. And what that means is quantity as well as quality of movements. There's a bit of a disclaimer there that you shouldn't repeat. However, there's also a bit of gray area in terms of, if it is done in a way that's different to how you did it before, they will accept it. However, if it's done, and we're talking about a certain type of move, let's say it's a signature move. However, if it's done exactly the same way that you did it the last time, then it's going to actually deduct a point, and they're going to mark a point against you. So for these 16 rounds, ideally, you would not repeat any of your movements.
Right.
However...
But that's so hard, right? Just to cut in, right? Like, there aren't... Arguably, there aren't 16 different power moves. Do you know what I mean?
To have 16 high quality, world class rounds is almost nearly impossible. And actually, Max from Momentum and from
he was saying that in the
WDSF,
workshops,
he gave us a briefing, and he was like, "Look, even the best in the world don't have 16 to 20 rounds. However, what they do is they have different ways of how they mix their vocabulary.
Your transitions.
Exactly. Their transitions, maybe little variations of their signature moves that make it a little bit different to how they used it to the last time, so that they are able to sort of get away with it.
But you know what I love about that? I think it keeps it to the essence of breaking. Because breaking is like that. If you're in a battle outside of the Olympics, you can't be doing the same stuff. The judges will see that and be like, the competitors will see that. They'll start counting on you. Do you know what I mean? So I see it, but when you have 16 rounds in a day, that is a tough thing.
Yeah. It's tough. And we were lucky that, it was over 2 days. We only had to do 7 on day 1, and then on day 2, it was top 8 all the way to final, which is about 9 rounds.
Yeah.
but there's also positive and negative from both sides.
Yeah.
You know, some people
Your doms,
find
onset of doms.
some people find it easier to battle all in one day because you're mentally more
Mindset.
prepared and you're within it. Sometimes it's harder to go back into day 2 and switch it on again.
But then you have other people who excel in that.
Exactly,
They get to
because
go back to the
they
drawing
can
board.
rest, they can recover, they can mentally prepare again, you know, like it's each to their own. However, to sort of sum it up in terms of the round robin, like I think it's a great thing. It definitely pushes those that are a part of it. Like I've grown a lot from being a part of this process and preparing for this competition. Is it for every jam? No, it's not. You know, like there are certain jams that, like it would be good for from an athletic point of view, and you know, having the production behind that event and having the screens up and having like how the judges marked made it more interactive with the audience, you know, and it made it more exciting.
It was much easier. Say I didn't understand breaking at all. Having the counting system with the colored tiles to say who's won how many points, like that was exciting. Because even if you didn't understand, you'd be like this.
For those of you at home that didn't go to the event, so what they did is it's a one-on-one battle. So you've got one person on one side, one person on the other side. They had 2 screens, 2 big projector screens.
Yep. And they had animations on there.
Yeah, and the judges were on the background of the stage, and on the screens after one round of the battle. So let's say dancer 1 goes in, he does his thing, comes out. Dancer 2 goes in, does his thing, comes out. Then on the screens in the battle, the judges will do their scorecards or whatever, and it's either blue or red.
Happening.
So it's either going to be dancer blue or it's going to be dancer red, and this is live. And they reveal the scores as the battle is happening at the same time. And what this does is it gives more transparency to us, the audience, the watchers, to be able to understand, okay, like it's going this way. And you know, like in a normal jam or a normal competition, it's either judge just points, and it doesn't give any sort of idea of why or how. And we had, I think it was about 10 judges, and you know, you could see not everybody voted in terms of one person's direction. It was a little bit like,
and it got to the point where there was 3 rounds, right? So you'd see the back and forth, which was super interesting, because you'd see like Ty would take 1 round and he'd clean out all of the dots on blue. Then I would go in and I'd take that second round, also taking all red dots, right?
And then it makes it more exciting because you're like, damn, I've got to pull it out now. Like I've got to put it on the line.
Or sometimes you see that someone's edged out 1 round by 1 point.
Yeah.
And then, so to go off that point, now as the dancer on the dance floor, because you've experienced this, you've done your round.
Yeah.
And you see the opponent, he's looking at the screen.
Yeah.
So you take a look at the screen, you see you're 1 point down or 1 point up.
Yeah.
What does that do? Like right then and there in that moment?
In honesty, to me, it didn't change anything because for the battle in particular where I didn't pass, which was the top 8 against Benamex, and it was a best of 3 rounds. So it wasn't a 3-round battle. It was a best of 3 rounds. So it could have been 2 rounds or it could have been 3 rounds. And what happened was Benji took the first round, I took the second, and then we had a tiebreak round. However,
that was hype.
Yeah, it was mad hype.
Like,
I think our battle was one of the battles of the day.
I think so too, honestly.
Because actually in that top 8, our battle was the only one that went to a tiebreaker. Everybody else's battle, that one person had cleaned it up and they took it.
And put it this way, sorry, before you continue, just to set the scene. Ty is someone who's quite well-rounded. He's got a really good foundation, he's got really good power, and he hits freezes. So Ty, for me, is a well-rounded athlete in this setting. Benamex is one of those young monsters. Do you know what I mean?
He flies, man.
He has everything. He flies, right?
Yeah. He's only like 15 or 16.
Man, I think he's like 15.
Yeah, and this is what I mean. Like him and Jeff, J-Attack, they are the type of dancer that will do well at this kind of competition. Just because of their athleticism, they're young, they can do a lot.
Yeah. But it was good matchup.
It was a
Do you
good
know what I mean?
matchup.
Because,
it was a good exchange.
Because you do have the power to match him.
Yep.
Right? Sorry, just...
And it could have gone either way. It could have gone either way.
It almost did.
It was very, very
Right?
close. It was very close. That's what breaks my heart. But it's all good. But really, I just go cry at home.
I had a tissue, bro. I had a tissue for this moment,
it's all
but I
good.
think
It's
I
all
threw it
good.
out.
It's good
It
competition.
happens, eh?
Yeah,
Like,
it happens.
hey.
And that's the thing, right? Like, in a battle, it can go to anybody. And I think there were definitely favorites for Oceania. However, like, it could have gone to anybody at any time. You know, like anything can happen. There's no set of like who it's going to be.
Right.
But yeah, going back to this format. So Benji takes one, I take one, it goes to a tiebreaker. But I had already prepared for 3 rounds.
Right.
So I knew what I needed to do.
So you had it in the pocket.
Yeah,
It was
exactly. Did I do what I was supposed to do? Not quite.
Did
That's another story.
Did you crash?
I
at
didn't
all?
crash. I didn't crash. I kept it clean.
Yeah.
I kept it clean,
Yeah.
but I didn't
I didn't see
quite.
any crash. When I was watching back the footage, I didn't see any crash.
Yeah, there was no crashes on this side. Man was clean. Man was didn't repeat. But I didn't put the full stop on the end, so that's all good.
Damn.
Yeah.
You live and you learn.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
You level up.
Feedback. I got feedback for myself, and this
Hell
will
yeah,
help
that's what you
probably
need.
other people too. Like when you get super hyped, like honestly, just take a breath. Like take a breath before you go in. Take a breath while you're in there, and take your time. Don't let the emotions or the feelings take control of yourself, and don't rush in. Because
It's so
there's no
crazy you
rush.
say that, because like in the few battles that I have jumped in, the ones where I'm sitting there, I'm going, yeah, I've got to get this energy up, and you start bringing it up, and it's great to have all that energy. It makes you feel good in the moment, but once you're on the floor, you're like, what do I do with all of it?
Yeah.
And then it comes out in like a loose CC.
Yeah,
you
need to learn
shows
to
us-
harness your energy and stay calm, because then you make better decisions. You're more focused. So yeah, breath is so important.
So yeah, it's all about leveling up, right? It's all about being better as you were in the last battle, being better as you were before the Olympic qualifiers. But in the lead up to the Olympic qualifiers, there was a lot of learning that you had to do, specifically being announced as a Oz breaking dancer, athlete. So that brings me to the question of media, man. Right? It's a very, very real thing. In the lead up to the qualifiers, you were on Channel 7, you were on Channel 9, South by Southwest got you to perform, you came in clutch there, pulled that out. So how important is it now for athletes to be able to hold their own in media?
I think it's very important, and I think it's not underrated, but maybe not valued enough.
Underestimated?
Yeah, I'm very fortunate that with my experience from hosting street shows and doing a lot of performing and not just battling, but learning how to interact with people and from coaching and that kind of stuff, that's definitely helped me feel comfortable to speak and to speak in front of camera. And it's really important for all of us that take this next step to educate ourselves within media so that we better represent the scene, because the general public aren't going to take us serious unless we are professional.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So it's really important that we learn to speak well, to have the vocabulary available, as well as to be able to present our culture in a way that can be digested beautifully by the audience.
I feel like you really got to take a second before you jump onto TV to really think, or the radio, to think about what you're going to say about breaking, because with any culture, it can step on the toes of other people if you don't say things correctly. You could give misinformation.
And that's why it's really important for Channel 9, Channel 7, all these TV channels to include us, right? To include the breaking scene. They actually know the people, they know the community, they know the terminology to be able to speak about our culture.
Yeah.
It's really important that it gets represented in the correct way.
Yeah. Representation is a massive thing. It's something I've been thinking about just to stay onto this media topic. And this is now bringing it into the scene, something reflective into the scene. It's something I saw on a Australian breaking forum where we had Gerard have an opportunity, and I mean it. The word there is opportunity to speak on breaking after his win at Red Bull. And he started mentioning crews that he was around. And it angered a few people, you know, in the, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Right? And I think we should talk about that. I really think we should. I understand where the anger comes from, but my point of view here, jump in whenever you feel like it, is we have a dancer that was given an opportunity to speak on their perspective, on their journey in their breaking career, right? I do not think it falls on his shoulders or her shoulders to then go out and list every single crew from the birthing of like Australian breaking. Do you know what I mean?
And at the end of the day, he is not the person or she, like they are not the people that write the article, right?
No.
The people that are within the media team are the ones that are the editors, and they decide to take what you say or what Gerard said and use it or not. Yeah. So you can't blame that person for trying their best to represent the scene. However, it's been taken by somebody else and they've decided to water it down and put in whatever they think is suitable.
Put it this way, I'm a videographer, right? I do editing all day, every day. I will shoot somebody for an hour and I have to make a 2-minute edit. What happens to the 58 minutes of shooting that I've just done, right? So if somebody out there is not a dancer and they're constructing a story of something that they don't know, of course they're gonna miss out details. Now, to fix this issue, right, and I just wanted to call it out because it's something that we can have a more positive relationship with in the future. It isn't the duty of it's the duty of the person and responsibility to make sure what they do say is correct, you know, and what they do say is not negative, right? But it's, like we said, it's not their responsibility to start listing out like 40 years worth of history. Now, it leaves an opportunity for the rest of the scene, for the OGs out there that had their toes stepped on. Where are the platforms where we can send people to go and find this information? This is like what Decypher is for, right? Yeah. So in 20 years from now, the new Gerard can go out at Channel 9 and say, you know what? This is my part. This is my take on the scene. But you know where you can find real information? Go hit up a guy named Troy. Go hit to Decypher. Benji and Ty, they've been documenting all that they can, right? Obviously, this is not just to pump us up, but like it's a genuine kind of bit of advice. Let's start collating our information as a community and like have it somewhere. So someone like Gerard can be like, you know what? There are hundreds of more crews out there, which is what he said. This is where you can find them. And I think that's a more positive way to do it. And I'm not calling out anyone for speaking up because it allows us to have the conversation. And conversation is great. So, but yeah, that's a media talk, right? I think we kind of pushed through a lot of that Olympic talk.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's kind of where I wanted to get down, see where you're at, because it was fun for me to watch as a spectator. And I think me, from a videographer's perspective, is that if I found it entertaining, I think the general population will start to find it entertaining.
I agree.
And that's the goal.
I think the level of production of that event, how it was run, how the dancers danced, you know, it was very, very it was a good show. Yeah. And I know those people that came to watch enjoyed themselves. So, you know, like we need more of those events. Like that needs to be one of the standards that we need to maintain to be able to continuously grow our community, to have it digested by our general community as well and the general public.
We need
keep it interactive, you know?
Yeah, and we need it for a positive ecosystem. You need the big with the small. You need the grassroots jams, you need the raw jams, the cipher-only jams, but then you also need these big production, high-scale events because it's where we get to have fun.
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
It brings out different energies.
Yeah.
Ty, man, I appreciate you being vulnerable and talking about your experience. I know before this, it was a tough thing to jump into. And it probably will be for a minute.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
But thank you, man. And I think you being vulnerable and talking about your experiences on the competitor side will help other people that were in the same kind of boat or the next gen who go down that path as well.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, if anything, like, I do want to honestly say, like, I am so happy for everybody that made it through. There's no animosity. There is no hate towards anyone or the system or anything. It's definitely a blessing to be a part of it. And if anything, an event like this and an experience like this not only betters myself, but it also betters the entire scene. Everybody gets to grow and everybody is going to develop, you know, and it's going to pave a very, very bright future for the next generation, which is amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So let's get amongst it.
Yeah.
Let's, everybody out there, let's just continue to be a part of it because this is only one step. This is just another battle.
It is just another battle.
Just another battle. And it's going to happen again in another 4 years, another 8 years after that, do you know? So
time to get your kids ready.
Hey.
Time to start teaching.
Hey, we've actually got battles. We've got a lot of battles. We're right in the middle of battle season in Australia. So there are a lot of events coming up. So get amongst it if you're new to the scene, if you just want to come and watch and you don't even dance, like reach out to us. We'll point you in the right direction. But I think that's all we have time for today on Decypher podcast. Thank you so much for giving us your time. I hope you enjoy your travel to work. I hope you're parking up just fine right now at work, at home. Maybe you're on a road trip. Sunset's outside. You listen to our beautiful voices at the end of the day. Thank you.
Big love. Thank you. Like, share, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram. We need to get as much exposure as possible so that we can spread the word and educate more of our general pop, as well as get more of our stories on the podcast. So that we can continuously grow our community.
Don't be afraid to reach out to us for anything. Just message us. All right, guys. Thank you. Decypher out. Let's get it.
Peace.